I was 19 years old when this happened, and I thought I was much braver than I actually was. It was during my university years. I had argued with my family over something small, and thinking it was cool, I went out for a night walk. Uh, I don't remember the exact time, but it was dark enough outside. The street was quiet. So quiet that even the sound of my own footsteps bothered me. Instead of walking on the main road I usually took, I decided to take a shortcut. On that street, there was a rundown apartment building. Its construction had been left unfinished years ago. The windows were never installed, and it had been abandoned in its raw gray concrete state. During the day, it looked ordinary. At night, it was too dark. As I passed in front of the building, I looked up. I don't know why I looked. It felt like an instinct. In one of the rooms on the third floor, a faint, barely noticeable light was glowing. I knew the place was empty. At least that's what everyone said. I kept walking. 5 steps later, I heard a sound behind me, a scraping sound on concrete. I didn't turn around. There was a soft tick sound, as if something lightly hit the ground. This time, I turned and looked. There was nothing there, but the shadows at the entrance of the building had grown darker, as if something had just slipped inside. I got angry at myself. "You're exaggerating," I said in my head. I continued on my way. About a minute later, my phone vibrated. There was no message, no notification. The screen hadn't even lit up, but I clearly felt the vibration. I took my phone out and looked at it. It was 0047. Just as I was about to lock the screen, I noticed the camera was on. I hadn't opened it. The rear camera was active, and the image wasn't completely black. On the screen, I could see the street behind me, and on the far left of the frame, there was someone, not directly under the streetlight, a little outside of it, in the shadows. They weren't moving. Slowly, I turned around. The street was empty. I looked back at the screen. This time, the figure was closer, almost in the center of the frame. It was behind me. But when I turned around, no one was there. At that moment, a strange feeling took over me. I knew I should run, but my feet felt as if they were nailed to the ground. I turned off the phone. I heard something, a very faint breathing sound, right behind me. Slowly, I turned my head. No one was there, but the faint light on the third floor of the building had gone out, and then I realized something. There was a second set of footsteps on the street besides mine, but that sound came half a second after my steps, as if someone was imitating me. I stopped. The other sound took one more step. At that moment, I held my breath, and the street was completely silent. There wasn't even the slightest wind, and the leaves on the trees weren't moving. But that extra step I had heard was real. Slowly, I started walking again. 1, 2, 3. Half a second later, a tap. Another step. This time I was sure. It wasn't my imagination. I knew I should run, but strangely, there was also an uncontrollable curiosity inside me, as if I turned around, everything would finally make logical sense. Suddenly, I stopped. This time, the second step didn't come. The street fell into silence. "Okay," I whispered. "Enough." All at once, I turned around. No one was there. But my eyes drifted toward the building. The darkness at the entrance no longer looked like an ordinary shadow. It felt as if something was waiting just behind the door. Not a clear silhouette, but rather a deeper darkness condensed within the dark itself. And at that moment, my phone vibrated again. This time the screen turned on by itself. The camera was open again. And this time, the image was clear. My back was visible, but I was holding the phone in front of me, which meant the camera was filming me from the front. On the screen, there was a figure standing at the entrance of the building, tall, slightly hunched. Its head looked unnaturally thin, and it was staring at me. Slowly, the figure on the screen tilted its head to the side. I hadn't tilted mine. In that moment, my whole body went ice cold. I almost dropped the phone. The screen went black for a second, then it returned to the normal home screen. A whisper came from behind me. Very close, "Don't turn around." This time I ran. I don't remember how fast I was running. At one point I slipped and almost fell, but I didn't slow down. I didn't look back even once until I reached the main road at the end of the street. When I got there, the lights were brighter. Oh, there were cars, there were human voices. I looked back. The street was completely empty. The building wasn't even visible anymore. It had disappeared once I turned the corner. When I got home, it was 1:12. I didn't tell anyone anything that night. But the strangest part happened the next day, and giving into my curiosity, I went back to that street. I thought everything would look more ordinary in daylight. I entered the side street, but there was no unfinished building there. In its place, there was an empty lot, flat dirt, not even grass growing on it. On the wall of the neighboring building, there was an old, faded notice. The construction was completely demolished in 2009 due to safety reasons. I was 19 years old. This happened last year, and there is still a corrupted video file in my phone gallery that cannot be deleted. Its duration is 0 minutes, 47 seconds. It won't open.